Hey everyone, Sports Talk Bears, like and subscribe. Look, we are moving quickly here and we're moving aggressively, and I'm fully on board. The Chicago Bears just filled our hole at defensive coordinator with Buffalo Bills assistant head coach and defensive line coach Eric Washington. Guys, this is a strong hire and it's kind of a steal. What I love is we move quickly. We interviewed 4 candidates, the most familiar name being Chris Harris, right? Our former all-pro safety. He's known and loved. And former Packers defensive coordinator Joe Barry. Gross. I'm glad we dodged that bullet. I'm sorry he even made it into the building, but I'm telling you, Washington is a huge get. I'm going to go to the sportsmockery.com story. I mean, guys, they do a fantastic job there. I want to give credit, and you should give them views. Check out their stories. They do a fantastic job. So we have Coach Flus, who excels at coaching linebackers, right? Now we have a hire who has long been viewed as one of the best defensive lineman coaches in the whole league. We run a 4-3 defense. You guys know that this means the defensive front. That's absolutely the linchpin of everything. And it's the main reason this hiring is just brilliant. And we got this right. It's hard not to get excited. I'm trying to calm down here. Okay. Even as Coach Flus continues to call the plays, man, this is an experienced hire. He's entering his 17th year as an NFL assistant, and this will also be his second go around in Chicago. So that's cool. It feels like we're bringing in one of our own. Speaking of that, him being a homegrown guy, he also got his first defensive line coaching job at our own Northwestern. From 2004 to 2007, he was there. He was coaching linebackers. He was coaching the defensive line. He has been doing this position from the start, and it didn't take long for his work to be noticed. He was hired for the Chicago Bears in the same capacity, defensive line coach, in 2008, and he held the position until 2010. If you remember, that's the year we made the NFC Championship with Smokin' Jay Cutler. If you remember, that nickname is so funny. Look up the meme. It still makes me laugh. Then something happened. We make the NFC Championship game. Ron Rivera, he ended up leaving us as defensive coordinator. He went to Carolina. He picked up his first head coaching gig. And naturally, as many staffers do, when a defensive coordinator leaves a staff, a lot of times the personnel leaves with him, and Washington was no different. So let's look at his time in Carolina. What were the results? If you guys know, if you guys remember, it was one of the best defensive units of the decade. I mean, think about some of the linemen he got to coach. Greg Hardy, Charles Johnson, you know him, Mario Addison, Kawan Short, just some great personnel. But as we know, it's not enough to have great personnel. We have to get production out of great personnel across the board. Coaching really matters, and this is a huge testament to Coach Washington. As the BFR podcast, as they pointed out, and this is a great poll, all these guys had double-digit sacks at least once under the coaching of Washington. How great is that? It wasn't just one superstar getting the sacks, one superstar getting doubled. He developed these players. We're talking about solid production across the whole defensive front, and that is huge. And that, my friends, that is a sign of great coaching and player development. It's not just great personnel. We've got to give Coach Washington props for this. This is why I'm excited. And then he headed to Buffalo in 2018, and the results there, they speak for themselves. Besides being a perennial playoff team now, their defense has been a top 10 unit in 4 of the last 5 seasons that Washington's been on staff. And now he's in Chicago. We have a couple players that I think should be great. We have some players to develop, right? From flashes we've seen in the rookie years, we have Gervon Dexter, we have Pickens. They have high RAS scores in the right areas. This means they definitely have the physical tools to succeed. And we have these players that need development. Washington's definitely the coach to do it. Who has he developed with Buffalo? Phillips, Oliver, Epinesa. Some quality pieces in Buffalo that I believe are quality pieces due to the influence, due to the coaching of Washington. Also, we have this pivotal draft coming up, right? I'm so happy that we have a trained eye He can be here for throughout the process, not just for talent, but he has the knowledge and the experience and the provenness to help discern their potential with our system. And that's fantastic. This is such a good get. It's someone who's done this for 16 years. And here's another good thing. Um, I don't want to upset what's happening. I want Flus to keep calling the plays. That's a good thing. I don't want that to change. But now we have a top offensive now we have a top offensive minded offensive coordinator. We just hired a quarterbacks coach to go with him. That is a fantastic thing. And now we've turned our eyes on the defensive front. And now we have proven experience at defensive coordinator. And this could take some load off of our head coach's shoulders. He can now coach the whole team while he still calls plays. That's going to make a huge difference. And I'm just going to raise something. Save your comments. This is just a talking point. This is something you chew on. This is something you think about, okay? Perhaps the fourth quarter meltdowns that we have, perhaps those will not happen now because some of this weight is lifted from our head coach's shoulders. Coach Flus can now have a grasp on the whole team as a whole. He doesn't have to be responsible for everything. He doesn't have to micromanage everything. He is going to have a full and experienced coaching staff, but I'm not excusing those meltdowns for a second. Hear me out. But it's definitely a conversation piece. And I'm just so glad that we seem to have hit another hire out of the park. I mean, this is a big swing. This is a huge get. This is a great coach. Now, if we look back at some of our other candidates, I don't want to talk about Joe Barry. Let's no longer bring former Green Bay players. Let's no longer bring former Green Bay coaches onto our staff. I don't want to take their cast-offs. I don't want to take guys that didn't work out there anymore. I hope we learned a lesson with Getsy. But we just had Chris Harrison. He might be kept by Tennessee. We'll see. They're still filling out a staff after the firing of Coach Vrabel. Couldn't think of his name. I'm not sure that he's fully available, but his specialty is defensive backs. What a great get. What a great get to have Chris Harris come back to our team, come back to Chicago where he's known and loved, come back to where he's celebrated. But on top of that, he can come and take our defensive unit and bring it up yet another notch. I mean, that is a huge hope. Let's see if he gets hired elsewhere, of course, but having him join us, that would be a dream. That would be ideal. And if you look back at his history, once again, with Coach Rivera in Washington instead of Carolina, he was a fantastic defensive backs coach. Their defensive backs were some of the best in the league. They were taking the ball away. They were playing aggressively, just like our playing style that we want here in Chicago. I would love to say, hey, Chris Harris, come home, join this staff. We are building something beautiful together, and I hope he's a part of it. But hey, two huge hires at quarterbacks coach, another big hire, a home run with Coach Washington, and I'm so glad he's on our staff. I hope you guys feel the same. Let me know how you feel. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you think the next coach should be that comes on staff. And it is so good to be us. And I'm so happy about this. Bear down, and we'll talk soon. See ya.